Hey guys, it's Danny Johnson, and today I'm here with my 2003 Ford Mustang Mach 1 in torch red, and just wanted to make a video talking a little bit about the 03 and 04 Mach 1s. So first I'll talk a little bit about the styling, and then we can move into the drivetrain, some specs on it. Coming up front, the first thing you see is the chin spoiler, and it's a very nice touch. It really makes the car look like it sits a little bit lower to the ground. The Mach 1s actually do sit lower than the GTs, and so that's kind of an interesting fact there. In the grille, you have the grille delete, as it's called. Some people call it the Mach 1 delete. And so there's no honeycomb behind the running horse, it's just the running horse. And one of the most pronounced features of the Mach 1, of course, is that hood with the shaker. What I really like about the hood is it steps up the first level similar to the GT, but then it steps up again, and then you have a shaker on top of that. So just a very bold, beautiful hood. I think it's Ford's best hood that they've ever made. And you have the really nice black hood stripe that leads up to it. And I'll tell you, when I was looking at the 03 and 04, well, basically I was looking at a 2003 torch red Mach 1 just like this in the showroom floor over at the Ford dealership, and I remember coming in and sticking my head out and seeing that beautiful shaker, and man, I was thinking about all the power under that hood, because I was, I had a 97 V6 Mustang at 150 horsepower, so here I'm looking at a car that's making twice that power, and man, did I want one, but I thought I'd never be able to afford one. But depreciation's a great thing. So anyway, moving on with the styling. The car is very similar to the GT as far as the styling goes, as far as the front bumper, side skirts, rear bumper, some of those things. But we'll talk about the wheels. These are the 17x8 Heritage wheels, as they're called. It's a Mach 1 throwback wheel. Very good looking wheel, and I'm a purist, so on my Cobra and my Mach 1, I like to keep the appearance to look pretty much very stock. So those are a special Mach 1 wheel. The running horse is interesting because there's very few Mustangs that are V8s that have the running pony on the side. And the Salines do that as an aftermarket thing. But I thought that was neat that it has the running horse on a V8. Like I said, the rocker panels are kind of the same as the GT, but the stripe is specific, and it has that Mach 1 lettering, and I really like how it fades towards the end and kind of disappears, so that's really neat. This car has the Cobra mirrors on it, so disregard those. It just comes with the factory mirrors otherwise. One of the things that's overlooked often are the C-pillars. As you can see, they kind of cut downward. It's a different window and different C-pillar. So on the GT and the Cobra it comes down like this, but the Mach 1s it cuts forward. So very nice styling feature. I really do like that. I think it looks great. Headed towards the back you have the Mach 1 black wing, and I really like that too. I think it's a great accent for the car. And one of my favorites is the lettering for Mach 1, and its specific text. So I think it gives a really nice presence from looking at the rear of the car. So moving on into the interior, you have some very special interior in this car. The Mach 1s had their very specific seats with the silver line down the middle, and very comfort weave seats, or whatever they call them. Very nice look. Most Mach 1s that I've seen have the interior upgrade package, and I have a video on that if you want to know more about it, but some cars did not have that IUP, and so you have the bigger headrest and some other polished pieces that you can see the other video if you'd like. But anyway, the Mach 1 came with the aluminum pedals if you had that interior upgrade package. And regardless, you had the same instrument cluster, which is awesome. I love the throwback lettering. Now that's pretty common with the newer Mustangs, but at the time it was very special. They come with the brushed aluminum shift knob and the shift bezel around that, and the silver IUP center section. And once again, that's all with the interior upgrade package that not all the Mach 1s had, but otherwise you would have a similar setup. The Mach 1s did come with the Mach sound system. However, you could not get the Mach 1000, which I thought was interesting, because if any car deserved a Mach sound system, the fully upgraded version, it should be the Mach 1. But they did not offer the Mach 1000 audio system for the Mach 1s, just the standard Mach sound system. That's what you got. So now we'll talk a little bit about the drivetrain. And you know, for 2003 and 2004, these were very stout cars. They were rated at 305 horsepower, but as soon as they started putting them on the dynos, they were making 260 to 280, so it was really a 320 horsepower engine. It's no surprise, since the engine is very similar to the Cobra layout. So a lot of people say, oh, it's the same motor as the Cobra, just without the supercharger. And that's really not quite true. It's a very similar layout. However, the Mach 1 features an all-aluminum engine, so it's a little bit lighter. It has the same cylinder heads as the Cobra, but it does not have the forged connecting rods. And on the 5-speed cars, you have the 8-bolt forged crank, same as the Cobra. The automatic cars, they did a 6-bolt cast crank, and don't know exactly the reasoning on that, but they also lowered the red line, where the 5-speed cars red line at 6,800 RPM. It's very, very nice to have a dual overhead cam, high revving engine. But lowered the RPM red line on the automatics, and a lot of people say you still can spin them just as hard. It doesn't really matter, but Ford did that maybe to protect the transmission or something. But anyway, going back to the engine layout, it also just has traditional pistons, so nothing forged in it except for the crank on the 5-speed cars. But still a very good layout. You can basically take all the Eaton supercharger parts off of the Cobras and put them onto the Mach 1, and then you're really looking about 450 horsepower as your max before you'll start breaking pieces. But anyhow, moving on with the rest of the drivetrain, the Mach 1 has the TR36 5-speed or the automatic. So it was the first time you could get a 4-valve with an automatic on a Mustang. So it's kind of an interesting feature. The rear end has the 8.8 inch with 355s and traction lock. So really nice gear for the car. I've changed mine out to the 410s and really like it. That high revving engine likes a lot of gear when it's all motor like this. And just to tell you the difference with me and my brothers, we've gone and ran them out, since he also has an Azure Blue Mach 1. Basically the 410s will get you out a car or two ahead, and then they basically stay even after that. So anyway, right off the showroom floor, these cars were very powerful, and Evan Smith, one of the magazine editors, got into the 12.7, 12.8 range in the quarter mile with them, and into the 4.7 seconds to 60. So they were really stout for being an all-motor car. I think Ford had just got everything right as they were ending this phase of the engine on the dual overhead cam engines. They kind of had it at the top of its game. Unfortunately, the Mach 1s were a little overshadowed by the 03 and 04 Cobras, and those are a very special car. I own one as well, and so rightfully so. But for an all-motor car, these were great, and it's kind of a shame that the Cobra didn't come out at a different time later and let these shine a little more, because like I said, they were a little overshadowed. But still a great car, still a very similar layout to the Cobra. It doesn't take too much to really make these perform the same as a Terminator. And the value of these cars is remaining pretty high, but still they are depreciating, but that's how I was able to get mine. So I've owned this car since 2011, and I came from having a V6 Mustang in high school, 150 horsepower, jumped up to a 01 GT with 260 horsepower, and then this one, which we call 320 horsepower, and now I have a Terminator making 600 at the wheels. But anyhow, as I've evolved from one Mustang to the other, you know, the Mach 1 was really a great bargain between everything. At the time, back in 2011, they were still going for $13,000 easy, and that's about what they booked for, and nobody would give them away for book value. But I actually ended up getting this one for $6,800 because it had a bad transmission. So it had some work that it needed to have done. I limped it home and put a brand new rebuilt 3650 5-speed into it, new clutch, a few other things, and a whole bunch of bolt-ons. But the car's done really well, and it's held its own against a lot of cars on the road. You know, Subarus, S2000s, 350Zs, some BMWs. I mean, it's really a good car, you know, for the value. So anyway, Mach 1s are great. I'm glad that the Bullet was a good, you know, pre-runner to it. Everything, a lot of the things that you see on the Bullet, like the gauges and shift knob and everything, is what they carried over for the Mach 1. And I'm really glad that when they made the Mach 1 that they went ahead and put the dual overhead cam engine in it, because it really makes a world of difference performance-wise. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'm sure I missed a few things, and if I did, then go ahead and drop them in the comments. And if you have a Mach 1, let me know what you have, what color, what year, everything like that. Thanks for watching.